A harrowing saga. A father and son, seasoned explorers, no strangers to the wilderness. The son, following in his dad's footsteps, vanishes in a Costa Rican jungle. A desperate search begins. ABC's Nick Watt has the story.
Cody Dial, an environmental sciences grad student, wanted to be like Dad. Dial is a renowned biologist, a National Geographic explorer and pioneering fearless ice climber.
We hiked our bikes up to that ridgeline and rode them along that green ridgeline.
Oh, wow.
We hunted in this valley, we skied in this valley.
They were best friends who shared adventures, a view of life, and the world.
When he was 6, we did a 60-mile walk, just the two of us across an island in the Aleutians. He was not an adrenaline junkie at all. I mean, I would admit that I am. He and I liked sort of science and adventure and doing it, together.
We met this week in his beloved Alaska, where Dial raised his family.
I liked having him as a companion. I liked having him do stuff with me. I love doing stuff with him.
I'm sorry to kind of make you talk about it all again.
That's okay. It's kind of, in some ways, it's better than just keeping it all bottled up.
Cody struck out on his own. Last seen heading into this forest, solo, on foot.
I love my son, and I need to know what happened. I want to know. It's just not enough to imagine it.
For nearly 2 years, Dial and his wife Peggy searched Costa Rica's wild and dangerous Osa Peninsula for their beloved only son.
You don't know heartbreak until you're running through the jungle yelling for your son's name. Roman!
National Geographic cameras documented the harrowing journey in the series Missing Dial.
Being his mom, I want to retrace his steps. I want to see where he was. I want to see if maybe there's anything that I would see that was different that someone else might not pick up on.
When Cody said he was going solo to Central America, Roman supported his son's decision.
He had a compass, so he was very, classic style, old school.
Apparently, Cody was usually pretty good at checking in via email with Mum and Dad.
At the end of Cody Roman's email, the last thing he said was, "It would be difficult to get lost forever." I've been haunted by those words ever since. And then we didn't hear anything from him. A lot of time had gone by, and I checked my emails. I was like, whoa, when did he send this email? And it was, 2 weeks old. So he's like 10 days overdue.
Right.
Roman called the authorities. They began the search, and Roman got on a plane.
It never crossed my mind not to go. Never. He was hurt. That was my initial thought, was that he was hurt. Not that he would get lost. He was really careful about not getting lost.
Had Cody been hurt, kidnapped, or worse, murdered? After 2 weeks and still no sign of the 27-year-old, the Costa Rican authorities called off the search, but the Dials did not.
And I held out all kinds of hope. I mean, we had psychics, who said, oh, I can see him. He's under boards and he's alive, but he's in a jail sort of thing.
You cling to that hope.
Well, sure.
You kind of have to.
Peggy, more so than I, she, after a while, I was like, he would have contacted us. Kidnappers would have, sent us a demand for money.
Yeah.
And I kind of came to the realization, after 3 months or so, that he was most likely dead.
They brought in their own private investigators to the jungle.
I kind of feel that something criminal happened.
A clue. Cody Roman's backpack found at a local hostel here on the edge of the park. He'd also been spotted round here by locals.
The Red Cross had said to me, oh, your son was seen with this local bad guy, this drug dealer, and they walked across this trail. And I was like, that doesn't sound like my son.
A theory took shape. A suspect emerged, a guide who goes by the name Pata de Lora, Parrot's Foot.
30 people saw you take him in there. No one saw you brought him back. I don't like being lied to.
Pata de Lora claimed these gold miners had killed Cody.
Lo robaron y lo mataron.
But that just didn't add up.
Would have been good if you ran for help. That would have been the best scenario.
What did I try wrong? But I can't talk, I can't do nothing.
Roman began to think that Pata de Lora was delusional.
Either you're stoned or on drugs and imagining things and dreaming them up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Either you're making it up and you think it's true, or you're lying.
Still, Costa Rica's FBI equivalent changed the case status from missing person to homicide. and Cody's mum and dad went to Washington.
I think that he was murdered. We do feel that we know who may have been involved in his murder.
It's been hard. He's on our mind constantly. It's hard to move forward and to kind of go on with life because we get called back to look for him.
And with nothing to show for it. The Dials were back home. National Geographic producers were also back home editing a missing person show, still without a body, when a call came from Costa Rica. Human remains had been found, camping equipment, less than a mile from where young Cody Roman was last seen.
The teeth, we sent them our dental records, and they said that the teeth match. They sent me a photograph of the skull in the place.
Just having to talk about your child's dental records.
Yeah, I guess it's, yeah.
And what does the evidence point to?
His body's found right below a tree fall. So, I mean, to me, that's like, it's hard to ignore that, right? It just doesn't seem like foul play, though, does it?
I think that he had set up camp, and then, you know, it sounds funny, but a tree fell on him. And this area is notorious among the locals for big tree falls.
A freak accident, perhaps?
It seems like a pretty straightforward accident that happened in a remote place.
The top of his pack had his passport and his money in it. So it didn't seem like anybody, I mean, if somebody killed him, why would they kill him in a super remote place and leave his passport and his money?
DNA test results are expected any day, and Cody Roman's parents hope this is their son. Hope their theory of how he died is true. They're not pressing charges against anyone.
At this point, yeah, I'm happy with the narrative I have for myself, and if it's true or not true, the feeling is right for me.
You found the truth, but you've also found a horrible truth.
Oh yeah, it was heartbreaking. But on the other hand, at least it wasn't a murder scene. I just wouldn't want to have to spend the whole rest of my life wanting to wring somebody's neck.
Roman and Peggy have now visited the spot where their son was found.
I have a chronic pain that will never go away, you know. I probably cry every day.
I notice you do sometimes refer to him in the present tense.
Do I still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's hard. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Nick Watt for Nightline in Anchorage, Alaska.
The conclusion of Missing Dial will air this Sunday on the National Geographic Channel.